Hey everyone, I hope you're well. So I thought I'd put together a video about the London Marathon 2020. Today is the 7th, or it's Friday the 7th of August, and the announcement came yesterday on Thursday the 6th of August that the London Marathon 2020 will not be taking place in its usual format. So I was out with a few friends on a walk, and then obviously I had a flood of messages, screenshots and people sending me messages that the London Marathon had been cancelled. Obviously over the last few months they've made many a statement saying that they're working as best as they can to come up with the right solution and will let their runners know in due course. But yesterday was the day that they decided that the event will not be taking place in its normal format on the 4th of October 2020. So I thought I'd put together a little video. I have done a little bit of research, I've read over the FAQs, my past experience on the London Marathon, and just thought I'd put this video together to talk about what may be upcoming in the next few years with the London Marathon and my opinion on it all, and what runners should be doing in the future based on their circumstances. So as we know, this October, 4th of October, which was meant to be the second date of the year, will not be taking place for any runners of a ballot, charity or championship or good for age level. The only people that will be racing on the 4th of October is the elites. So the elite, I'll talk a bit more about that in a moment. So they have the elite race. They also have the opportunity for people to do a virtual race. So on the 4th of October, anyone can run a marathon distance. And from what I believe, they're releasing more details coming up soon, but you can do it in a 24-hour window, I believe. So I think it's the 12th of August, they're going to be releasing some more information. It's open to anyone that had a place in the 2020 marathon. Depending on how many people sign up, I believe that they will then open up some places to people that were not signed up for the 2020 race. So if you wanted to do it, then you may have the opportunity to do it virtually as well. The main hot topic really is for anyone that has a ballot place, a charity place or Good for Age championship place, where is their entry going? What year will they be running? So I think it's been over the last couple of months with other marathon majors also sort of postponing their events, it's kind of become clear that everyone might not just get rolled over to 2021. There will be some options. So they have offered quite a good, from what I can gather, a good solution to this. So rather than just going like taking everyone from 2020 to 2021, the reason why they've done that based on what they're saying is the fact that I think 425,000 people entered the ballot for 2020. So obviously there's lots of people that are wanting to do the London Marathon every year. So if they just completely changed everyone over to 2021, it means that there's a proportion of runners that aren't going to have any access to it for 2 years. So they're going to try and stagger it throughout the next couple of years. So doing the research, if you have a place and you defer to 2021, 22 or 23, you don't have to pay again. So your entry fee is safe. On the 12th of August, they'll be sending out an email with the option for a virtual, and on the 1st of September, they'll be sending out an email for everyone about their deferrals. So if you had a ballot place, you'll be asked whether you want to transfer it to 21, 22 or 23. If it all works out well, then you'll just get allocated those places. If it doesn't, then they will do a ballot. So you may sort of ask to go for a certain year, but if they can't accommodate that, then you may just get given a year to run it. So if you get into 2021, you'll be told by the 4th of October. And if you get into 22 or 23, you'll be told by the 31st of January. 2021. If you got your place as from your running club, then you'll either have to take part in the 2021 or 2022 race, and if you were a deferral from the 2019 race already, you will have to run it in 2021. You won't get another opportunity to defer it later than that. So yeah, I think that's kind of covering most of it. And then also the other thing is charity. So charities form up a lot of places for the London Marathon. Now the charities are working with the London Marathon to distinguish what year they will have the places for their runners, and obviously it's down to the charities to work with each individual to try and put them into a year, because at the end of the day these charities are suffering at the moment, because if there's no race, I know that a lot of people have raised money for it, but if their place then gets transferred, the likelihood of them raising double that is quite slim. You know, some people will go above beyond and try to fundraise more money, but if you've already hit your target, it's going to be hard for charity runners to then extend that. So the charities are missing out here slightly. So if there's anything that we all can do in the meantime to try and support the charities or support runners that are raising money for charity, let's see if we can do that as well. So that's kind of the overview of the entry system. So basically, if you've got a place for 2020, whether you deferred to 2021 already, that's not guaranteed anymore. So everyone's just basically getting drawn back, and then you're all going to get allocated places again. It's a bit different for Good for Age and Championship, so dependent on when you qualified for your time. So if you qualified after January 2019, your place will just go to 2021. If you qualified before January 2019 and you don't qualify, if you don't do another qualifying time anytime soon, then you have to then go to 2022 or 2023. So races should be back by then, so those like standard of runners should then be able to hopefully try and achieve another Good for Age or Championship time. I know that obviously it's not that easy, but hopefully if your time is slightly older than January 2019, so 2018 and before that, then you may have to requalify at a later stage for the event. So the virtual race, you can run it anywhere you like, but they're advising people not to do the London Marathon course. The course will be the sort of course that is sort of open roads, and normally London Marathon close those roads, and those roads will have traffic on them. So basically you won't be able to run the actual London course. The virtual race will be called the 40th race. Now what I couldn't try to gather from the information is, will next year be the 41st race? Will they just, because that was a big thing that a few of my runners were really excited about this year, is that they were taking part in the 40th race. So the virtual race is classed as the 40th race. I'm not sure if then next year that will just mean that automatically that becomes the 41st race and the 40th is just a virtual option. You have to pay £20 for an entry fee, which is additional to your London Marathon fee already, but you do get a medal and a New Balance t-shirt. So I think that's a pretty good deal. And if you run in the virtual, you can still run another year, so you can still defer your place to 21, 22 or 23. I feel like I've said that a lot already. So on the 26th of August, there'll be a limited number of places for those that didn't have a 2020 entry. So I think, what did I say, the 12th of August, I think you'll get an email about the virtual race, and then if they find that they've got a few more places, then anyone that maybe didn't have a place for the race already can take part in the virtual, because it would be pretty cool to be able to do that if that's what you wanted to do. One thing that really is interesting is so that if you run the virtual race, you are eligible, you can use that time as a Good for Age or Championship time. So that is really interesting. You know, I've seen a few people comment about this saying, you know, it's a bit unfair, you know, how are they going to be able to track it properly, because obviously you'd think that there's things like your elapsed time, so seeing people take breaks and stuff to make sure that their moving time and their elapsed time correlates, because, you know, if you walk in the London Marathon, the clock doesn't stop. If you have to take a rest because you're tired, you need a wee, or you've pulled an injury, the clock doesn't stop. Whereas if you run on your own, it's easy to stop your watch, have a little breather and then start your watch again. But obviously I'm sure there will be a process in place to try and stop people from doing that. You know, and there aren't many other races to try and then achieve Good for Age or Championship time. So if you're at that level and your training has been going well and you want to try and guarantee yourself a place for next year or the year after, then, you know, why not? I won't be doing that. Also, another interesting thing is that if you do it virtually, it doesn't qualify for the 6-star the marathon, like the 6 marathon majors, but it does count towards the classics. So if you wanted to do the swim serpentine and the 100 bike ride, that medal counts towards the classics. Interesting. And then last but not least, a bit about the elite race. So as I said before, the London Marathon is taking place, but in its different format. So there is an elite race on the 4th of October. It's going to be taking part on a looped course in St James's Park, and they've called it a biosphere atmosphere or conditions, like biosphere conditions. So essentially it's contained, like the Formula 1, like cricket. And I did hear a rumour that a little while before that this was going to be the elite race was going to be in St James's Park, and apparently it's a looped course, and it potentially may be one of the courses that they'd mapped out for Eliud Kipchoge's sub 2-hour run. I don't know how true that is, but it's around St James's Park. The London Marathon have confirmed that Kipchoge and Bekele are taking part. Never say Bekele. They are taking part in the men's elite race, so that will be sort of really good competition between those two. Bridget Kosgei, she's taken part as well, and also our very own David Weir will be taking part in the wheelchair race. The full list of elite athletes will be released in time to come. Obviously, I guess as an elite runner, you may not want to take part in a looped course around St James's Park. You may wanted to do the actual London Marathon course, so obviously they're just waiting to hear back from the elite field, and obviously again it will probably depend on how many numbers they can have on that start line to get the licence from EA. They're asking for no spectators. There is access to St James's Park, but they're saying that they're putting fencing up and panelling up so that you basically can't see the race. But obviously they can't shut off the whole park because it is public space. So yeah, no one can go and view it. However, the BBC Sport are broadcasting it online, and potentially, I don't know what I just said online, but I'm hoping that it'll obviously be on TV too. And they're saying around an 8-hour broadcast, so that would be really cool to be able to watch it and see how that race unfolds, because I love watching. I'm normally there on the London Marathon race day itself, but I love recording the London Marathon coverage and watching it when I get home. Just the music, everything, the build up is just, BBC do it really well. So this then leads on to a bit more about my opinion and what to do if you were meant to be running the 2020 race. Obviously, with the deferral system, you pick a year that you feel that's going to be best for you, because the 2021 race is not going to be in April, it's going to be in October. 22 and 23 they've confirmed will be in April. I think it's at the 23rd and 24th of April. So you pick the year that you feel that's going to be best for you. You know, I was speaking to a client last night and they've already got another marathon next autumn booked in, which has been delayed from this autumn. So it's picking this other marathon is abroad, so they're more than likely going to do the abroad one because the logistics is going to be a bit more difficult to arrange for London. So, you know, 2021 might not be right for them, so 2022 may be the best year. Some people, you know, it's all different. So you just have to, as you as a runner, decide what year is going to be best for you that you want to run the London Marathon in. And then the biggest thing is then just to relax with your training. You know, if you did have a long run this weekend planned, this weekend is due to be really hot. So, you know, don't bother with it. If that's my opinion, you know, just have a weekend off to relax, you know, go off plan. You know, if you want to run a super long run, then go and do it. But if you'd rather go and relax and just run some easy miles with some friends or try a different bit of scenery, then do so. Feel free to take this time off and just to sort of reevaluate, recuperate, and then sort of come back into it next week deciding what you may want to do. Because there may be some people that are wanting to run the event virtually, which is absolutely fine. You know, if your training has been leading up to this, your training has still been the same as it has been, then, you know, and you want to do the virtual race, then do it. Only do it if you want to, because personally, a virtual marathon, I'm not sure I could be as motivated by, but I know there's a lot of clients out there and a lot of my runners that have been fundraising or they've been putting all this hard work in and they want to do it on that race day. So if you want to do that, then absolutely. But if you choose not to, then that's absolutely fine as well. So, you know, few options. For most people, I would just say just take a weekend off, just relax the training for a little bit, have a think, reflect, and then come back next week and decide what your options are. So options are to do the virtual race, maybe just to relax completely and just do what you want for a little bit, or then, you know, reflect on what else there may be coming up, because right now is the time probably to support smaller and local races, because they will be popping up, you know, 5Ks, 10Ks, potentially some half marathons coming up as well. So, you know, now might be the time to sort of switch the focus, move away from the super long runs and try and focus on some speed work instead. So there's plenty of things to think about. It's, you know, definitely take the time to evaluate this, because it's been a huge roller coaster journey for every single runner out there this year, you know, with training really intently at the start of the year and then races being postponed and then working towards the autumn races and then for most of them to be cancelled again. It's just been a huge learning curve for everyone. So, you know, don't feel bad to take time off, because as recreational runners, that's what I'm going to call most of us, is that it's, for us, it's a hobby, it's not our jobs, and we feel like we need to run all the time, but we really don't. You know, even elite athletes take time off, they take blocks off, and we as recreational runners, because we enjoy it, because we don't view it as our jobs, we feel like we don't need to take that time off. But it's also really important, both physically and mentally, to do that as well. So I hope that this has kind of given you a bit of insight into the London Marathon 2020, the whole process, what's going on and what's upcoming in the future. But if you are meant to be running, if you were meant to be running the event, let me know what you're going to do. Are you going to run virtually? Are you choosing to, what year are you going to defer to? What's your plans? Are you going to watch the elite race on the 4th of October? But let me know. I hope that you found this useful and that whatever you decide to do in the next few months, training goes well for you. Take care, bye.